Picture this. The year is 1588, and one of the most legendary showdowns in history is about to go down. A massive fleet, a fleet so powerful they literally called it Invincible, sets out to conquer an entire nation. But it never came home.
So how on earth did this supposedly unbeatable fleet meet its end? Was it because of English genius, a few critical Spanish mistakes, or was it just the wild, unpredictable power of the sea? Well, let's dive in and find out.
To really understand this epic battle, you first have to understand the two people in charge. This whole thing was basically driven by two incredibly powerful rulers with completely opposite goals. They were on a collision course, and something had to give.
Okay, so in one corner, you've got King Philip II of Spain. This guy was the most powerful king in Europe, ruling a massive global empire that stretched all the way from the Americas to the Philippines. He was a devout Catholic, and he had one major goal: bring England back to the Catholic Church. And in the other corner, Queen Elizabeth I. She was the sharp, determined ruler of a much smaller island nation. Her goal was pretty simple: protect England, protect its independence, and protect its new Protestant faith, no matter what.
Now, a showdown like this doesn't just happen overnight. The tension had been simmering for years, and it really boiled down to three big things. First, religion. You had Catholic Spain versus Protestant England. Big clash. Second, just plain old rivalry. Both countries wanted to be the top dog in Europe. And third, piracy. You see, English sailors like the famous Sir Francis Drake were basically government-approved pirates. They were constantly attacking and robbing Spanish ships that were hauling treasure back from the Americas. We're talking ships loaded with gold and silver. Philip was losing a fortune, and frankly, he'd had enough.
So fed up and furious, Philip decided it was time for a final solution: a full-blown invasion of England. And to pull this off, he built one of the most incredible military forces the world had ever seen.
The Spanish Armada was made up of 130 ships. I mean, just try to picture that. It was this massive floating city, packed with thousands of soldiers and sailors. Looking at it, you can see why almost everyone in Europe thought it was truly invincible.
The backbone of this huge fleet was a type of ship called the galleon. Think of it like a floating castle. These things were huge, with super high walls that made them really hard to climb onto. They were designed to do one thing really well: get right up next to an enemy ship, lock on, and then just pour soldiers over the side for hand-to-hand combat. And this is where we see the huge difference between the two sides. The Spanish were all about brute force: get close and fight it out. The English, though, they had a totally different idea. Their ships were smaller, sleeker, and way faster. Their whole strategy was to stay away from those big Spanish galleons and just blast them from a distance with their cannons. And they had a secret weapon. Their cannons were on wheels, which meant they could reload them way faster than the Spanish could. The Spanish plan sounded pretty solid, but it had two absolutely critical parts. First, the Armada would sail up the English Channel in a tight defensive formation. Second, it would meet up with Spain's professional army, which was waiting in the Netherlands, and basically act as a giant ferry to get them across to England. For this to work, the timing and coordination had to be perfect.
So in July of 1588, the wait was finally over. The Armada was spotted off the English coast. The fight for the future of England was officially on.
As the Armada powered its way up the English Channel, the smaller English fleet was right there, shadowing them, launching these quick hit-and-run attacks. But the Spanish held this tight crescent formation that was almost impossible to break. Then, on August 6th, the Armada dropped its anchors near Calais, in France, to wait for that army from the Netherlands. And that decision, that one stop, would turn out to be a fatal mistake. It gave the English the exact opportunity they were waiting for.
With the entire Spanish fleet just sitting there, anchored and vulnerable, the English unleashed a weapon that was as brilliant as it was terrifying. It was a plan that messed with your mind as much as it destroyed ships. The English plan was actually pretty simple. They took 8 of their oldest ships, packed them full of anything that would burn, gunpowder, tar, you name it, and then, in the middle of the night, they lit them on fire. They sent these floating bonfires drifting on the tide straight into the heart of the anchored Spanish fleet. The sight of these blazing ships coming right at them caused absolute panic. Spanish captains, terrified their own ships would catch fire and explode, did the only thing they could. They cut their anchor cables and fled into the open sea, completely shattering their perfect defensive formation.
That chaos was exactly the opening the English needed. The very next day, at the Battle of Gravelines, they pounced. With the Spanish fleet now scattered and totally disorganized, the quick English ships could finally dart in, used their faster cannons, and caused some serious damage. Just like that, the Spanish invasion plan was in ruins.
The battle was lost, but believe it or not, the Armada's real nightmare was only just beginning. They couldn't go back the way they came, so the fleet was forced into a desperate, and as it turns out, deadly retreat.
The battered Spanish ships had absolutely no choice. They had to sail north, all the way around Scotland and Ireland, just to have a chance of getting home. And they were sailing straight into some of the most dangerous waters in the entire world.
The conditions on those ships were just horrific. They were already damaged from the battle, food and fresh water were gone, and disease was everywhere. And remember how they cut their anchors back at Calais? Well, now they couldn't stop and ride out bad weather. They were completely at the mercy of the sea. And then the storms hit. A series of incredibly violent storms smashed into the fleet, wrecking dozens of ships on the rocky Irish coast. Thousands of sailors drowned or were killed when they washed ashore.
In the end, only about half of that invincible fleet actually managed to limp back to Spain. The English Navy started the job, but it was the brutal power of nature that really finished it.
The defeat of the Armada wasn't just a big military victory. It was one of those moments that completely shifts the balance of power in the world and changes the course of history forever.
Back in England, people saw the victory as a miracle. They even made medals with this quote on it, which basically says that God sent the winds that scattered the enemy. They believed that divine intervention and some really helpful weather, which they called the Protestant wind, had saved them.
So why does this one battle from so long ago still matter? Well, for Spain, it was the beginning of the end of their time as the world's biggest superpower. But for England, it was the exact opposite. This victory gave the country a huge boost of confidence, it secured their Protestant future, and it was really the start of England's journey to becoming the world's #1 naval power.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? The fate of empires was decided by a combination of clever tactics, better technology, and a huge dose of bad luck with the weather. If that wind had blown just a little differently, or if those fire ships hadn't worked, who knows how different the world would be today? It's a powerful reminder of how a single event can change absolutely everything.